This greedy little goblin is the most unnatural protagonist I've ever seen in anime. She's wearing pajamas and washing her hair with municipal water. Pajamas are full of fire retardants, dyes, pesticides, and plasticizers. It just goes to show how brainwashed she is, because she doesn't just sleep in normal clothes. She fell for the marketing that you have to sleep in pajamas. I don't see any kind of filter for the tap. She's using dead boiled water that's full of drugs to clean her hair. You're poisoning your hair and not even using shampoo to clean it. Water barely washes oil out of your hair without using shampoo. What's the point of even doing that? You might as well just brush your hair. At least you won't be damaging your scalp. The first flashback we get of her is her eating cereal with pasteurized milk. Cereals are fried in hydrogenated vegetable oils. It's oil that's hydrogenated so much that it turns into plastic. Your body can't use those plastic oils, and that's going to block your lymphatic systems. You'll end up diseased with no energy. That's one reason why people in an older age have less energy. It's not just the malnourishment, it's the lack of detox from a blocked lymphatic system. Everything that's fried in vegetable oils has up to 9 times the amount of acrylamides. Cereal has the highest amount of acrylamides. The more acrylamides, the more cancer-inducing it is. Tumors are 30 to 60% acrylamides. Cereal has 60 varieties of chemicals, including sweeteners such as aspartame, and it's sprayed with pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and food additives. She's ignorant enough to eat cereal, so it's definitely GMO. And even if you would have the most natural organic cereal, it's still just fiber and sugar. Cereal naturally has anti-nutrients, like phytic acid, which will leach zinc from you. The fiber is going to cause constipation. There's a great video by Dr. Paul Mason on it. The sugar is going to cause glycation, which is associated with premature aging, incredibly destructive for your skin, pancreas, and liver. There's this huge scam where food companies create food charities, then they use the donations to those charities to purchase from themselves to send to the starving. There's cereals, powdered milk, and other dry foods that they do it with because it's easy to ship overseas. Only fresh food nourishes, not dry food. You know what they call the food they send them? Care or aid packages. It's very sinister. Chickens who are fed cereals get damaged intestinal walls and have toxic cells in their intestines. If you eat a high sugar meal in the morning like cereal, you're not going to have a clear mind. I have a video on how carbohydrates are slave food, so check it out. Cereal for breakfast is a result of mass marketing, like most things we have in our society. Cereals are seeds. Seeds are bird food. Some seeds like flax seeds and psyllium seeds are sharp and will cut your intestines. It's like putting broken glass into your body. The milk on the table is pasteurized, denatured milk. It's not real milk. It's a milk-like substance that looks like milk. When you pasteurize, you alter or destroy proteins, vitamins, enzymes, natural allergens, and many natural unknown benefactors. Anything that's pasteurized becomes toxic. That requires detoxification, body, which becomes harder as your body degrades. Minerals that are pasteurized become cauterized and glass-like, becoming sharp enough to lacerate liver, blood, and nerve cells. Pasteurized dairy causes sickness because the bacteria is mutated and foreign to human digestion. Raw dairy promotes health, pasteurized dairy promotes sickness. What's even worse is that she drinks out of a milk carton instead of glass bottles. Even more plastic. It's as if she thinks she isn't exposed to enough plastic already. Cereal and pasteurized milk, if they're fortified with vitamin D, is extra toxic. They make vitamin D by radiating hydrogenated vegetable oils. It has nothing to do with real vitamin D. I have a video on supplements already. Artificial vitamins are bad, whether you put them in supplements or food. Artificial vitamins cause tumors because your body can't utilize them. She goes to this funeral with lit candles. Those candles are likely made from paraffin wax, which releases benzene and tellurine. Benzene causes anemia as it decreases your red blood cells. Tellurine poisons your central nervous system. If those candles are scented, you're getting formaldehyde as well. Yes, it's possible that they're soy or beeswax candles, but come on, just look at the ignorance already displayed here. She fantasizes about eating fried breaded chicken drumsticks and what looks like pepperoni pizza with green leaves. Everything that's fried nowadays is with hydrogenated vegetable oils, which is more plastic and more oxidation. You get up to 9 times more acrylamides from fried food than with other cooking methods. The breadcrumbs on a chicken was sprayed with pesticides and there's no nutritional value, just sugar and anti-nutrients. The only good thing about it is that at least you're getting fat in the form of the chicken skin, but again, the chicken was probably poisoned with cereal and soy its entire life. Not healthy at all. The pizza base is made from flour, water, yeast, salt, olive oil, and sugar. The flour is ground up seed sludge, which offers sugar and anti-nutrients. That's now been baked, creating acrylamides. The water is from a municipal source, most likely. The yeast is the least harmful thing about the pizza base. Salt is incredibly unhealthy. I already made a video on it. They also add anti-caking agents to it and other stuff that ostensibly makes it healthier, but it's really toxic. Most olive oil is not real olive oil. It's diluted with mineral oils, since there aren't enough olive groves in the world to support the market. We're not adapted to consuming vegetable oils anyway. It just passes through us. If it's been hydrogenated, meaning it's turned into plastic fats, it's even more toxic, as your body can't remove it without hot baths. The olive oil oxidizes when cooked, and I've never seen olive oil not stored in plastic, so it's even more microplastics. The sugar is more glycation, as if grains weren't inherently sugary enough. The metal cans that tomato sauces are stored in are treated with plastic, so you're getting plastic and heavy metal poisoning from the tomato sauce. Tomato sauces are made from spoiled tomatoes that have been chemically treated and sterilized to hide the horrible taste. If you've eaten too much processed tomatoes, it can over-acidify you, which is remedied by eating raw, real, fresh tomatoes. Most pizzas use mozzarella cheese because it stretches the way most people expect on pizza. Even if you start with raw milk, it's expected that you stretch it out in boiling water while making it. So you end up with pasteurized cheese anyway. When you melt mozzarella with baking, obviously it ends up pasteurized anyway as well. The green leaves are probably spinach leaves, which are full of oxalates and pesticides, not even sugar for energy. The pepperoni is likely spiced with pepper or paprika, which makes it toxic. There's usually vegetable oils in pepperoni as well. Fermented meat is always salted. Salt in the pizza base, salt in the cheese, salt in the tomato sauce, and salt in the cured meat. She drinks vegetable soup, which was a so-called meal people made to stretch out food when they had nothing or little to eat. I say drink and not eat, because saying that you eat soup is really dishonest. You're basically drinking water with a snack. You would have a handful of food that was meat. Meat used to mean food in general, but people manipulate the language so that it's no longer the case. And then you boil it in water, and that makes it appear that you have more food. You should just be honest with yourself and have another cup of water there. Don't lie to yourself and add water to pretend you have more food than you actually do. Soup used to always have meat in it, so you have a meat broth when you boiled it, because the meat taste transfers out to the grains and vegetables or whatever else you add to it. Nowadays, people make vegetable soup that has little to no meat in it, so this is another level of slavery. Of course, she says it tastes watery, because That's what she's drinking. She's just drinking water. She's not eating anything. It's basically just water with a little bit of meat. It's absolute mental illness. I'm not going to criticize the water by itself because this is a medieval setting and most likely the water has microbes in it, so you can assimilate it. There's some peasant bread on the left there. Look into how ancient, medieval and Victorian era bread was. Today's bread is a fake drugged up version of it, and that's why we can stomach eating it. Even then, they knew that adding animal products like milk and eggs to flour made a higher quality bread. This is a peasant family that's feeding her, so this is peasant bread she's been given. Schizophrenia used to be called bread madness. That's because the gluten in bread creates holes in your gut, and that means food goes undigested, causing malnourishment. People don't understand the link between your diet and your mental state nowadays. The sausages on the top left are probably really good. The salt wouldn't have anti-caking agent in it. There might be fillers like grains in it, but most likely not, because sausages would have animal entrails in it instead. You would have sausages filled with blood, fat, and organs like liver, so they're one of the healthiest things you could possibly eat if you're eating cooked meat in a medieval village. The sausage casing would also be made from animal intestines or skin instead of the synthetic casings you have today. They also aren't using, or definitely weren't using, Teflon pans or vegetable oils to fry the sausages. I'm not sure what she's eating above the sausages. Looks like some sort of poultry drumsticks, which would have been okay. In a real medieval village, you really wouldn't be eating chicken because you would save them for the egg laying abilities. Eating chicken was basically seen as a status symbol back then. This is just more conditioning. The anime is telling you that if you're rich, you can enable yourself to live to 100, when it's much longer than that. Dying at 100 is dying young. The anime thinks it's so slick trying to brainwash me. I'm not going to let slide. She's talking about yen, which is nearly 7 million USD, for your information, but my point remains the same. She later says she needs twice that, which would be 14 million USD. We have some typical misinformation here. He's holding a cucumber and a bowl of tomatoes in his other hand. Cucumbers and tomatoes are fruit, not vegetables. There's also an eggplant in that bowl, which used to be referred as mad apple. It tastes bitter because it's toxic and can literally make you go mad. She sells this shampoo which cleans your hair while poisoning your scalp. All it's going to do is cause baldness over time. This isn't an organic shampoo. She also doesn't warn her about the fact that it burns your eyes if it gets into them. She could have sold them goggles or a shampoo shield to protect the customer's eyes, but she doesn't care about people's health. It's pretty sickening what's happening because this is a pre-industrial society and she's introducing post-industrial poisons into the ecosystem. I just talked about tribes who had fish and frogs in the rivers, but after being introduced to soaps and shampoos, the wildlife disappeared. Absolute environmental destruction in the name of greed. She could have sold them raw egg yolks, rice water, raw coconut cream, or soap berries, but she was too lazy to do so. The word elixir is a spin doctor word that people use for cure all remedies. It should just be called hair poison because that's what commercial shampoo really is. She sells some jewelry, which is full of heavy metals and will give you heavy metal poisoning. It's stupid to obsess over jewelry in the first place, but jewelry has lead in it, so it will literally make you dumber for wearing it. She serves minstrel soup, which is vegetable soup, so more slave food, as if we hadn't seen enough in this anime. You can't make this shit up. It literally says it was created when the diet was vegetarian by necessity. So they made it when they had no meat, and she just makes it for fun. Or she serves it. Her only concern is about whether it's fully cooked or not. You have completely the wrong priorities. You should be concerned about the fact that your food is cooked in the first place, and that you were given not food because there's no meat in it. The anime then tries to brainwash you into thinking minestrone soup is delicious. Was this anime sponsored by a processed food company or something? They even show that she made it from packaging instead of it being homemade, so there's definitely drugs in it like MSG as well. She then makes daikon. I looked it up and daikon is similar to yellowtail, which is a fish with a vegetable called daikon. Yellowtail can be farmed or wild caught, but since based on an isekai Japan, I'm going to assume it's farmed. Farmed fish is toxic garbage, never eat it. I already made a video on farmed fish. Daikon is supposedly non-toxic, but then it admits that it gives you skin irritation upon contact. Something that's non-toxic never irritates your skin. So it shows in its own description that's lying. Just to be completely fair, I looked up a traditional daikon recipe to see how she could have made it. I will put it in the description so you can see for yourself. It uses boiled rice water, which is full of arsenic. It uses sake, which is alcoholic rice wine. Alcohol is toxic. I'll have to make a video specifically on alcohol. Rice is full of arsenic, therefore the wine you make it from is full of arsenic as well. It uses soy sauce. You should avoid everything with soy. I've made a video on it already. It uses mirin, which is another rice wine. It uses ginger, which is toxic, which is why it burns your throat when you drink ginger shots. It uses sugar, which causes glycation. As far as cooked meat goes, pretty terrible meal. She then makes risotto, which is based on rice with grains. The Wikipedia picture barely shows anything of anything else. That's not rice. What is that, not even 1% meat? And then she tells us it's supposed to be risotto with grains. So we have a seed-based meal with different kinds of seeds mixed in it. It's not enough that you used rice water and rice wine earlier. You have to use actual rice and then put it in another kind of seed on top. Is she trying to give someone arsenic poisoning? It shows that she got her daikon from metal cans. Oh, she's really trying to give them heavy metal poisoning. Canned fish is always pasteurized, so think about how rancid it is. And usually it's stored in vegetable oils, but it's possible that it's stored in spring water. For preservation purposes, it's probably salted, and commercial salt is extra toxic. She does serve some meat-based dishes like roast beef, finally, but let's move on already. It's not raw and usually grain finished. Meat is always ruined by crap like this. You have beef stew, but it just looks like you put cooked cuts of beef into minestrone soup, which just says everything. You should just have the cooked beef by itself. Ice cream can be pretty healthy if made right, but she didn't make it and she's super ignorant anyway, even if she did, so it's made from garbage vegetable oils with stabilizers. You just need raw cream, raw milk, and egg yolks, but obviously all the dairy is pasteurized because it's prepackaged garbage, and she'd probably use pasteurized dairy if she made it herself. And they probably made it with soy-fed chicken eggs as well. The cracker shoved through the ice cream is grain sludge. It's store-bought, so they're also getting microplastics from the plastic container it came in. Can you guys guess what amasuke is made from? Yes, that's right, rice. This girl is completely obsessed with rice, like some greedy rice goblin. I'm surprised she didn't put rice in the ice cream. She brags about being good at cooking, basically bragging about having the most useless skill ever. Okay, you're good at destroying food. It's not something to be proud of. Tea and coffee are what we have been programmed to give to guests. Tea is dry leaves that have been boiled in municipal water. Coffee gives you adrenaline rushes, and it's going to cause adrenal fatigue in the long run. Not to mention the heavy metals you're going to get with it because you cook it, which makes it cauterized and bioavailable, and the microplastics from the tea bags it came in. Because Basically, everything she makes, so-called, really she just used some prepackaged garbage at every turn. She doesn't actually cook. It's really irresponsible to give to someone. If you're someone who offers tea to people, you're a terrible host, really. I just want to comment on this plate of sushi that she served to some guests. The top left looks like sauerkraut, which is fermented and salted cabbage. Plants give you prebiotics, not probiotics. If you want probiotics, you have to drink raw kefir. She had the chefs make all the food themselves, so the salt at least isn't that toxic, but then again, she may have given them the salt to use. The red fish looks like tuna, which could be farmed or wild caught. Tuna tastes okay when it's raw. I'm not sure what the white fish is. The yellow things on the right are omelets that have been folded into these shapes. They use these rectangular pans in them, and they have had sugar added to them, which is why they're sweet. They may have had myrin, vegetable oils, or dashi powder added, so that's a concern. Also, maybe they gave them soy sauce to the side, or they added them inside them. There's some diced shrimp, most likely farmed, since the majority of shrimp is farmed, but there is a decent chance that's wild. It's red, which means it's cooked. I've never seen raw shrimp used for sushi. It's always cooked. That's a misconception people have about sushi, that's always raw, but they do have cooked tuna in it as well. The roe there looks like salmon roe. It's definitely farmed, pasteurized, and salted. The seaweed, otherwise known as nori, is high in heavy metals. The rice is just sugar and arsenic. If you look into the history of sushi, they would use the rice to ferment the fish, but they wouldn't eat the rice itself. It would just be thrown away. One person eats the sushi and says it's delicious as if it's the whole roll that makes it delicious. You could just eat the raw fish by itself as sashimi and you would think it's delicious. Absolute brainwash that they trick people into thinking putting fish on top of rice enhances the overall experience. The rice sits in your stomach and you have less space in it for the actual fish. It's the opposite of what's logical. She fucks up and has to serve French fries cooked in vegetable oils. Any high carbohydrate food that's deep fried creates crazy amounts of acrylamides. I just talked about how some Swedish scientists had a conference where they called for fries, chips, donuts, and other fried foods to be outlawed because of their disease-causing properties. They went from university professors to high school teachers because of that. She gushes over some mercenaries. Anyone who risks their life for money is an absolute slave. They get some man-made medal in exchange for risking life and limb. This wasn't some herb-picking quest they were doing. They were bounty hunting a murderer when the greedy goblin found them. I don't get why she was acting so impressed. It was literally 4 of them against one guy with a butter knife. She literally hired them on the spot just for that. It was 1 sword, 1 bow, and 1 spear against this little butter knife. What the fuck is wrong with this goblin? One of them is holding a Teflon pan in her hand. Teflon is toxic. If you cook with Teflon cookware around birds, they will die. Logically speaking, breathing it in for humans isn't healthy. It's just that we're bigger animals so we won't die right away, but it's still toxic to us. The mercenary on the right is holding a plushie, otherwise known as stuffed toys. Plushies are full of formaldehyde, phthalates, and flame retardants. They're made with plastics like polyester. You might think they look cute, but it won't be so cute when your lymphatic system is clogged from all the microplastics. One of the mercenaries is using a bow that's used against humans. Using war bows deforms your spine because of the draw weight. I hope they don't say that she's a great archer. The best archers are men because the best archers are the ones who are able to draw the heaviest bows. She gives the mercenaries green tea and she says it hopes it suits the taste. No one likes tea. They drink it because they've been conditioned into it and they add cream and sugar to cover the taste. She acts like it's a matter of personal preference. They make green leaf soup and she asks if it's delicious. There's no such thing as delicious green leaves. She even says that it tastes bitter and bad. Then why the fuck do you eat it then? Why are you people so determined to do the opposite of what's logical and natural? Oh my god, it's not edible, you absolute imbecile. Just because you can chew and swallow something doesn't mean it's edible. Edible is supposed to refer to actual food, meaning meat. She gives them minstrel soup. I already said my piece about it, so I'm not going to go over it again, but they've literally been camping for one day and they're already resorting to vegetable soup. Vegetables were eaten as a necessity to at least get some sugar as energy. Why would you eat vegetables on day one of camping? It's literally one day from the city. Again, I have to ask, was this anime sponsored by a minstrel soup company or something? She feeds them apan, which is bread with a red bean paste filling. Red beans are extremely toxic and they have to be cooked, otherwise they cause severe food poisoning. You can eat as little as 4 or 5 and you'll be in severe pain. Does this sound like an edible food to you, even if you do cook it? Apan is usually sold in plastic wrap, so congratulations on the extra microplastics. She offers them tea, which also comes from plastic packaging. I just need to have a little rant on this packaging right here. Calories are heat units. They're explicitly defined as heat units. You can't use calories to measure the energy of food when you consume it. It's absolute propaganda, the numbers they give you on the packaging, because you're not a bomb calorimeter, which is what they use to measure the calories inside food, so-called calories. Also, the word almost says balance, implying it's part of a balanced diet. As if it's a food that gives you all the nutrients. There's no such thing as a balanced diet. There's only a species-specific, species-appropriate diet. Balance is a spin doctor word used to fearmonger you away from eating meat. I have never heard it being used to promote eating more animal products. They look to be crackers, but it's even worse than what people normally eat. Because normally these things come with cheese, pasteurized and solid cheese, but still, would be a lot healthier if they ate it with cheese. Gives you more energy compared to what? Liver, oysters, butter, or sashimi will give you all the energy you need. Why would you eat baked siege sludge from propaganda packaging? She helps a restaurant reopen by putting items such as udon noodles on the menu because it's made quickly and easily at a low cost price. That's exactly why it's offered at restaurants in real life. Instead of giving you expensive meat, they give you siege sludge and water with chemical flavorings. Tipping culture is horrible, creates uncertainty in wages and meal payments. The protagonist is from Japan, and if you tip there, it's seen as an insult. Omelette rice in this context is eggs mixed with sugar on top of rice, which are siege, which have sugar. It's just a crazy amount of sugar she's eaten so far, or offered. You have to be careful about the media you consume. It exists to brainwash you. She's going to die prematurely, so good news. She won't need 40 million USD.